You've been hurt before, haven't you? Not just once, but in ways that made you question if goodness still matters. You gave everything. You were kind, patient, forgiving even when they didn't deserve it. You believed that love would be enough, that if your heart stayed pure, life would reward you, but it didn't. Instead, your kindness became a weapon against you. Your silence was mistaken for weakness, and the love you poured out came back, empty, cold, distant, conditional. You began to wonder, is the world cruel? Or am I just naive? Why do the ones who play games win, while the honest ones are left behind? Why do the strong walk away unscathed, while the gentle carry wounds they never asked for? Listen closely, because tonight, we'll walk into the truth that most people run from. We'll strip away the illusion that being good means being safe, and we'll learn the quiet, fierce art of turning pain into power, not through anger, but through awakening. Machiavelli once said, "It is better to be feared than loved if you cannot be both." But what he truly meant, and what few understand, is that respect built on strength protects love. That when you bow to please others, you lose not only your dignity, but the essence of who you are. Real love doesn't ask you to kneel. It meets you standing tall. You see, pain isn't your enemy. It's your teacher. Every betrayal carved a map on your soul, showing you where your boundaries should be. Every heartbreak stripped away illusions, revealing who truly deserves your softness. Every disappointment was a whisper from life saying, "Wake up. You are stronger than you know." This isn't about becoming cold. It's about becoming clear. It's about learning to see people not as you wish they were, but as they are, and loving yourself enough to act accordingly. It's about realizing that kindness without strength is sacrifice, but kindness with strength is power. So if you're tired of being broken for your goodness, stay. If you're ready to rise, not bitter, but wiser, listen. This is the path back to your throne, to reclaiming the respect you gave away, to walking through your pain and turning it into something unshakable. And as we journey, remember, truth is not cruelty. Truth is love with eyes open, and tonight, we open them together. Before we begin, breathe. Let your heart soften, even as your spine straightens. You're not alone, and if what you hear tonight finds a home in you, if it helps you rise, then let it ripple. Share it. Like it. Subscribe, not for me, but for the part of you that refuses to stay small. Because your awakening deserves a witness. You learn to believe that goodness would shield you, that if you loved purely, life would return the favor. But reality was harsher. The world didn't bend to your heart. People took from it and left. You tried harder, thinking more kindness would fix what was breaking. But all it did was make you invisible. You thought love meant surrender, that to keep someone close, you had to silence your truth. You became softer and smaller, thinking that would make you lovable. But it only made them forget your worth. They respected the boundaries of others, not yours, because you didn't hold them, because you wanted to be loved more than you wanted to be free. And yet, deep inside, there's a voice that never died. It whispers that your pain is not punishment. It's a mirror showing you what you must become. Life isn't cruel, it's honest. It doesn't reward those who beg for mercy, it shapes those who rise with courage. You see, the illusion of goodness is that it should protect you. But goodness without strength is like a candle in the storm. Beautiful, but fleeting. What you need is fire, the kind that warms you, not burns you. Strength that stands beside your tenderness, guarding it. The world doesn't need you to be ruthless, but it does need you awake. You can love deeply and still say no. You can forgive, but refuse to forget what truth revealed. You can be kind, but not at the expense of your dignity. You are not here to be liked. You are here to live in truth, because truth, even when it hurts, heals deeper than any lie ever could. Machiavelli knew what the heart often denies, that people are not always who they pretend to be. Some smile as they use you. Some promise forever and vanish when you fall. To see clearly is not to become cynical. It's to love with wisdom. When you see people as they are, not as you wish, you stop begging for love that costs you your soul. And that's when power returns. Not power over others, but power over your choices. Power to walk away when respect is gone. Power to stay kind without being blind. You are not naive, you were loyal. You were hopeful. You were human. But now, you are becoming sovereign. You are remembering that your heart is a kingdom, and not everyone deserves entry. So tonight, let the illusions die. Let the truth hurt, then let it heal. Because from this pain, something unbreakable is rising. And it looks a lot like you awake, courageous, and whole. There comes a moment when you stop waiting to be rescued, when you realize no one is coming to save you because you were never meant to be saved. You were meant to remember your own strength. For so long, you mistook patience for virtue. You tolerated disrespect, thinking it was love. You believed silence would keep the peace. But peace built on silence is a cage, and you are not meant to live in captivity. You were born with a spine as strong as your heart. You just forgot. You forgot that courage is not loud. It's the quiet decision to no longer betray yourself for the comfort of others. You forgot that real strength isn't about control. It's about clarity. It's seeing what is not what you wish and acting with dignity. You tried to heal through softness, through surrender, through pleasing. But there is a deeper healing one that asks you to rise, not bend, to speak, not silence, to choose yourself, even when it means being misunderstood. You must learn the art of being both lion and fox. The lion within you roars with truth, unafraid, untamed, unwilling to settle. It knows your worth. It demands respect. It stands tall in the face of rejection. The fox whispers with quiet wisdom, observing, discerning, choosing carefully who to trust. It moves not from fear, but from awareness. Together, they make you whole heart and spine, softness and steel. People will tell you to stay kind, and you should. But remember this: kindness is not submission. True kindness flows from power, not desperation. It's the hand you extend not because you're afraid to lose love, but because you already have it within you. You no longer need to chase what should flow to you naturally. If someone can only love you when you're silent, they don't love you. They need you weak. If someone can only stay when you give everything, they don't value you. They consume you. It's time to walk differently. To look at the world not through the eyes of the wounded, but the awaken. To see that not everyone deserves access to your softness, that some people come as lessons, not lifetimes, and that walking away is sometimes the greatest act of love for yourself. You are not cold for protecting your heart. You are wise. You are not cruel for demanding respect. You are whole, and you are not alone in this awakening. So, breathe again. Stand taller. Let the world feel the quiet fire returning to your eyes. Because you've spent enough time on your knees, it's time to rise. There's a tenderness in you that the world could not destroy, though it tried. Through every heartbreak, every betrayal, every night you cried silently into your pillow, something in you refused to die. That's your spirit. That's your power. You gave too much because you feared being left behind. You stayed too long because you hoped they'd see your worth. You forgave too easily because you believed love meant losing yourself. But now you see it, don't you? Love that asks you to shrink is not love. Kindness that leaves you empty is not kindness. Sacrifice that costs your soul is not virtue. It's self-abandonment. You were taught that being good means being quiet, agreeable, pleasing, but goodness without self-respect becomes servitude. You cannot heal by betraying yourself again. You cannot grow by staying small. The truth, the one you once feared, is that some will never value your light because it exposes their shadows. Some will never choose you because they cannot face themselves, and that's not your fault. You are not unworthy. You were just giving your gold to those who wanted glitter. Now, you begin again, but this time, with eyes open, with love that has boundaries, with softness guarded by strength. You start seeing people as they are, not as your hope paints them to be. You stop begging for the bare minimum. You stop apologizing for existing in your fullness, because the moment you stop chasing, you begin attracting what's real. Do not be afraid to walk alone. Solitude is sacred. It's where you remember who you are before the world told you who to be. It's where you learn that peace is not found in others. It's built within. You don't need to be feared, but you must be respected. And respect begins with you. When you speak truth, when you honor your needs, when you choose clarity over illusion, you teach the world how to treat you. This is the rebirth, the alchemy of turning pain into power, not by hardening, but by awakening, by understanding that resilience is not about never breaking. It's about rising every time, stronger and clearer. And as you rise, something changes. The same things that once broke you become your wisdom. The love you gave away becomes the love you give yourself. And the person you were, the one who suffered quietly, begins to fade into memory. Now, you become the one who sees, the one who chooses, the one who knows. Truth is the highest form of love. There's a quiet strength that grows when you stop running from pain. When you finally sit with it, not as an enemy, but as a teacher, you start to see that every wound had a message, that behind every heartbreak was a lesson written in tears. Pain said, "You have been giving without discernment." Pain said, "You believed promises instead of patterns." Pain said, "You mistook being needed for being loved." And once you listened, once you stopped numbing yourself with hope, you began to see that what hurt you was also shaping you. Because the truth is, life doesn't reward innocence. It rewards awareness. You can be pure, but you must also be wise. You can be kind, but you must also be clear. The world will not bend for your softness, but it will bow to your self-respect. You once believed that love meant sacrifice. Now you know love is mutual recognition. It's not one giving everything while the other takes. It's two souls meeting in truth, not fantasy. And courage, real courage, is choosing clarity, even when it shatters the dream. It's saying, "I deserve more," even as your heart trembles. It's walking away, even when you still care, because you know staying would mean losing yourself again. That's what Machiavelli meant when he said, "It is better to be feared than loved, if you cannot be both." He wasn't speaking of cruelty. He was whispering of self-respect. To be feared is to be ignored. To command presence not through threat, but through truth. It is better to be respected than adored for your silence. It is better to stand alone than to kneel in a room that diminishes you. And fortune, yes, it favors the bold, not the reckless, but the brave. Those who dare to leave what's familiar. Those who speak their truth, even when their voice shakes. Those who rise from betrayal, not bitter, but unbreakable. You've carried enough illusions. Now you carry clarity. You've given enough to prove your worth. Now you live as if you already are, because you are. Let your steps grow lighter now, not because life is easier, but because you no longer walk with chains. You've learned the art of being both lion and fox, fierce and wise. You see what others hide. You sense what words don't say. And you act not from fear, but from knowing. You are no longer someone who hopes to be chosen. You are someone who chooses. And that is where true power begins. There is a moment quiet, sacred, when you finally understand that everything you went through was not meant to destroy you. It was meant to awaken you, to burn away the illusions that kept you small, to strip you bare until all that remained was truth raw, trembling, unafraid. You see now that resilience is not about pretending you're fine. It's not about wearing armor and never crying again. Real resilience is softer, deeper. It's the way your heart still beats with tenderness after being shattered. It's how you still believe in love, but now you love with eyes open. You don't chase anymore. You don't beg to be seen. You don't mold yourself into what others need. Because now you know your worth is not up for negotiation. You are not here to earn love. You are here to embody it. Once, you thought strength meant building walls. Now, you understand it means building boundaries, gates, not fortresses. Walls keep love out. Boundaries let truth in. And truth, no matter how sharp, is the highest act of love you can offer yourself. The ones who deserve you will meet you in that truth. They will not ask you to shrink. They will not run from your fire. They will stand beside it, warmed, not burned. You see the world differently now. You no longer divide it into good and bad, kind and cruel. You see that every soul is a mix of light and shadow, including your own. You forgive, but you do not forget. You release, but you do not return. Because forgiveness does not mean allowing another chance to break you. It means freeing yourself from the grip of bitterness. You have become both lion and fox, not because you chose to, but because life demanded it. The lion in you roars when boundaries are crossed. The fox in you listens before it speaks, observes before it moves. You've learned when to fight and when to walk away. You've learned that silence can be power and presence can be enough. This is what power feels like, not loud, not ruthless, but rooted. It's the calm in your voice when you say no more. It's the stillness in your eyes when you see the truth and do not flinch. It's the peace that comes when you no longer seek permission to exist. Pain carved this strength into you, and now, what once wounded you has become your wisdom. What once broke you has become your crown. You are not who you were. You are who you were meant to become. And from here, the path is clear, not easy, but true. You've turned pain into power. You've turned loss into light. And now, you walk not as a victim, but as a sovereign soul. Thank you for walking this road with me. If these words found a home in you, let them ripple softly, naturally. Share them with someone who needs to remember their strength. Subscribe, not for me, but for the voice in you that refuses to go silent again. Because your awakening is not the end, it's the beginning.